Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube, you know me as Epic Fantasy, and it's 12 o'clock noontime on a Friday. What does that mean? Friday Fish and Chips. And today I'm going to be talking about magic. It's not what you think. Well, stay tuned and you'll see what I mean. All right, so I mentioned the fact that I'm going to talk about magic, and it's funny because I have this recurring theme, this kind of thought that keeps running through my head, and it comes and goes with me for a long time now, and I'm always trying to puzzle it out. It's like this. It's like I'm looking at a tapestry, and I'm seeing all these loose little strings, and I keep trying to pull at them to see what's revealed, trying to untangle the mess of magic. And I don't mean prestidigitation. I don't mean stage shows or anything like that. What I mean is, and this is why I'm having trouble, and this is why it's been running through my head for a long time, is because I haven't really figured it out quite yet. But let me say a couple of things to try to describe what I'm saying. And in a nutshell, what I mean is, the world we live in, all of this around us is so profoundly peculiar and unusual, and so mysteriously amazing that it's the only word that I can come up with that's quite right for it is it's magic. It's magical. I mean, it really is. And let me give you a couple examples. Yesterday, again, I thought about the theme of magic in the world, and I went to a local coffee shop to get a coffee, and so I got the coffee and I drove home, and I was sitting in my car out in front of the house and drinking my coffee and just appreciating the day, just appreciating and thinking about what I had to do today and just composing myself. And off to my left across the street, there's this pile of dead grass. It's almost like straw. I mean, it's a small pile. It's the size of like a pillow. But it's all this dead, it's almost like wheat, it's got that wheat color. And I saw a bird, some kind of a blackbird. It wasn't a blackbird per se, but a blackbird. Come, rush over to the pile, pluck at it vigorously, grabbing up a few straws, I guess, what would you call them? A few fronds of the dried out straw in its beak, and then fly off. And then then another bird came, and the reason why I know it was another bird, because at one point there were two of them. And they were both having a good time. Just plucking at fronds, filling their beak with fronds of straw, whatever it is, and flying off. And I'm like, they're house building. They're building their nest. It must be a couple, a male and a young female, and they're just having a good time building the house and finding the supplies. But here's the thing. These birds fly. I mean, they fly. We take that for granted now, but they move their shoulder muscles in a way that lifts them into the air and off like a little jet. It's remarkable. It's magic. I mean, we don't consider that. Like this stuff happens all the time all around us, and we get to be, we're kind of desensitized to a lot of stuff right now, It's just, the magic of it is just remarkable. So what I want is for you to take the time today to notice a little thing that's just magic. It really is. And I'm going to give you some more examples to kind of set you on a track so you kind of can feel that feeling of profundity. And I don't even know if, profundity is right, because the word is profound, but I like the profundity of that, and I want to share that with you. I hope you can find a little bit of that today in your life. let me give you another example. And I talk about this a lot. I think I might talk about this every week, but I've been working on a telescope book. And for me, it's a joy. I mean, writing a book is a lot of work. It can be, I guess. It could be.
Took a long time today.
The thing is, and I've been going back and forth with my editor, and we've been coming up with a lot of stuff, and I've been doing a lot of research about things, and I keep thinking to myself, I want to somehow instill this feeling of profundity in the book, because when you stop and think about it, the night sky, or even the day sky, I guess you could say, is just profound. And in my research, I've been coming across that, and the Hubble telescope has enriched that, and all these images we have in our head. Like if I were to say to you right now, Saturn, the planet Saturn, that an image would pop in your head of that beautiful planet with rings around it. It's remarkable. It's just magic. See how when I recorded this video and then when I did the narration are two different points in time, and then when you're listening to it right now is another point in time. It's magic. So let me, and our lives are filled with this. Every time you talk on your cell phone, every time you switch a light switch, nobody really, really knows how electricity works, yet we all take advantage of it every day. When you're switching things on and off, and light comes into your life, or the television comes on, or the computer cranks up, and it's just, sometimes it's just, the beauty of it is just remarkable. I don't know why we're not all in a trance of rapturous admiration for the world we have built. It's just spectacular. My fish and chips are a good example of this. The chain of things that had to happen for me to sit down at my table and have a fish and chips is just remarkable. The fish had a life and lived in the ocean, and it was caught, it was processed and cleaned and shipped, and and all the things that go along with that, and clean, and somebody cooked it. I worked to earn the money for it, and then I bought it, and now I'm enjoying it. And look, the malt vinegar, same thing. A whole nother series of processes that go on, and this it's all part of that tapestry that I've been trying to kind of tease out. Like I started out with this video talking about a tapestry and how I want to tease out the threads of it. So this tapestry is remarkable, and it's magic, and I wanted to get back on the track of the astronomical things, and because I kind of started there earlier on, and like I want to give you some more examples that maybe you haven't heard of. Let me give you another example. This has come up in my research, there is a star called Herschel's Garnet star, right? And garnet is like this red gem, this beautiful red jewel. And he called it, it was called Herschel's Garnet star because it was a beautiful red color. And it's readily observable to all of us without a telescope. But under a telescope, something happens. It becomes remarkable because of its deep red richness. But the big thing about it too is that this star is 100,000 times brighter than our sun. And 100,000 times. And we all know how powerful our sun is. It's the magic of that is unfathomable. I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted would be the right word. So, and the sky, the night sky is full of these things, and Herschel built his own telescopes, and I'm sure, I guess it's about close to 250 years ago that he and his sister Caroline, she's a famous astronomer too, William Herschel and Caroline Herschel, I'm sure there were moments where he felt that profundity. looking through the telescope he made and discovering things for the first time in the universe. He discovered the planet Uranus, sometimes pronounced Uranus, right? He didn't even realize it was a planet. He thought it was some kind of aberration, you know. He called it like, what did he call it? He called it like the King George's star or something like that. He kind of named it after King George. And it wasn't until later we realized it was a planet. So for all of human history that we know of, there were 6 planets, including our own. And he, in 1781, I think it was, he discovered that 7th planet. You know, and with his telescope. And since then, we've gone on to discover further things, like it has rings around it. So, you know, the magic, part of the magic, I guess, is in that constant desire to learn a little further, right? And that's a common theme for us when we have these talks on Friday, is to, you know, just learn a little further, discover a little bit more about the world and the universe we live in, and try a little harder, work a little bit more, and push a little bit more, and continue to be curious, make another thing, right? And that's all part of the tapestry, I guess. But let me impart on you that we will go full circle and come back to the thought about magic. So it truly is, you know, of all the things I do, you know, I do a lot of different things. Paper making, right? You can find that feeling in just a sheet of paper. It's remarkable, this thing that trees have given us, right? The discoveries, the finding, the learning, the process that all came together in order for you to get a simple sheet of printer paper is remarkable. You know, that printer paper probably, you know, it went through it was birthed in a factory and potentially traveled on a plane, at minimum traveled on several different trucks, crossed hands many times, and arrived at your doorstep to go in your printer, and that single sheet cost you near nothing, a hundredth of a penny. And it's just remarkable. So it might not be something like birds plucking at straw across the street. You know, it's just it's in everything. It's in this magic, this profundity is in the whole world around us. And I think, you know, I sometimes pause and think, and that's part of the reason why I pause and think about magic on a regular basis, is because I'm constantly shocked by how magical it all really is. And so that gives me a certain amount of gratitude for, I guess, what you could call a gift to be able to observe it and to experience it and be part of it, maybe even a little bit to contribute to it. All right, so that's it. I'm going to end this, but I wanted to say, there's one other thing. There was this Carl Sagan was an astronomer. Some of you younger folk might not have heard of him. And he was really popular in the 70s, I think the late 70s to early 80s. And then he had this amazing thing where he said, it stuck with me since I think he first said it way back when. And that is that, and this applies to all of us. The quote goes something like this. I can't quote it exactly. But it's, you know, we as human beings, right? I think he meant as we as human beings are another way for the universe to understand itself. You know, it's just remarkable. And that's what we do. We constantly, as human beings, we constantly are trying to understand the world and, you know, decipher the magic and unravel the tapestry of it. So that's it. This is, you know, I struggled with this Fish and Chips Friday for a week. And many a night in the past 7 days, I laid awake in bed thinking about different things and how I wanted to express it and what I wanted to say. And I had a lot of different themes come up, and I reviewed my notes several times this week to try to understand. But you know, this whole magic, this theme of life is magic, kept popping up. And So I just thought I'd talk a little bit about that and impart a little bit of that to you. So think about it. Think about how spectacularly magical it all really is. You know,